Good morning and welcome to Tuesday's edition of our program. And it's going to be a very political one today. My name is Etomaedu.
I don't know what it is about this particular Tuesday, but I am so excited. Good morning, Nigeria, and welcome to TVC Breakfast. There's a lot to talk about on the show this morning. It's my pleasure to always have you join us right here on TV. The name is Ria Abdul.
Indeed, Nigeria, you heard her. It is time for breakfast. Out of all the places that you could have chosen to be, you're here with us on the TVC Breakfast Show. You're very welcome. My name is Olamide Odekunle.
It is another time for us to give you all the information that we always bring on the breakfast show. I'm Ibrahim Shita. And Ria, that nothing can excite you except that you've seen money. So
seen money and the love of the show.
You see, I know what I'm saying.
And the fact that people are loving the show just means so much to us.
Absolutely.
And that's why we're here every morning. So once again, good morning, Nigeria, and thanks for joining us. How are you doing today, Ibrahim?
Very well, very well.
We're geared up for the conversation.
Most definitely.
Absolutely. Let's go. What a show.
Are we taking it away?
Take it away.
All right, there's a lot to talk about on the show this morning. You know how we do it. I'll just take you through a rundown. At some point, Ibrahim will bring us all the newspaper headlines and we get to speak about it on the show. And then we have an interview, like Otoma said, a political show today. We have an interview where we talk about the APC aspirants, and we have one of them joining us on the show, so keep your fingers crossed. And then we will go over to Abuja for the FCT brief, and then we come back to Lagos where Olamide will take us through all the stories that have been trending from all around the world. So please grab your cup of coffee and let's have a fantastic show. Now we'll start with the story where 26 persons have been rescued after a two-story building collapsed in the early hours of Monday at number 54 Coast Street, Cemetery Bus Stop, Oyingbo, Lagos. Now 2 bodies were recovered from the rubble as emergency respondents battled to save all the feared trapped. Now TVC News senior reporter Theophilus Elema reports on this.
Residents of Coast Street in the Butemeta area of Lagos were jolted from sleep by a thunderous crash. A two-story building had come down. In minutes, neighbors poured out, joining in frantic efforts to pull out survivors before the arrival of emergency responders. Rescue operations intensified when government agencies arrived, leading to the rescue of 26 persons, while 2 lifeless bodies were pulled from the debris.
We are being strategic in what we are doing, and that's why we divided the place into 4 quadrants. The 2 quadrants you can see is for the storage, and that is what we call our outer quadrant, and that is where we are using our heavy duty equipment. The inner quadrant is where we term as a very, very vulnerable area, and you can see us using our light duty equipment.
We and other rescue teams have been here since yesterday night, and we've been doing our rescue mission.
The incident is unfortunate. Efforts have been made. It's normally your loved one. You will cry. You will feel for them. But the way we are going about it, everybody trapped inside, if we still have, we'll be rescued.
Reports say the building had earlier been marked as distressed, and occupants were warned to vacate. Warnings that went unheeded until tragedy struck. TVC News spoke with some residents who questioned the effectiveness of government enforcement, especially in monitoring structurally unsafe buildings.
The annoying and the most intriguing part of this thing is that this is a building that has been marked as being distressed by the government years back. And let me shock you. The council chairman himself confirmed that this building has been marked years back. The Building Control Agency has marked this building as being distressed. If you mark a building that's been distressed, should it be a building that occupants should be?
They are just giving them, maybe they are giving them money to receive the license. They are not educated. So please, I'm begging the Lagos State government to not give any building, construction building in Butemeta. We are tired of this thing in Butemeta.
As the operations continued, emergency responders have appealed for calm among affected residents and relatives of victims, urging them to cooperate with rescue teams. Theophilus Elema, TVC News, Lagos.
Thank you so much, Theophilus, for bringing us this report. Very great time that we get to talk about this. You know, oftentimes we hear that most of the buildings in Butemeta are old. And from what we can hear them saying is that there was already a mark that the building should be taken down. And this is the same thing I was saying yesterday about people not listening, and oftentimes we just blame it on the government. So the government has put that, this building should be taken down. It wasn't taken down. And now we see that 26 persons, although 26 persons have survived, but 2 persons, were dead. And I'm wondering, like, how many of this are we going to continue hearing?
My heart goes out to the 2 people that died. It's really unfortunate. Butemeta is one of the oldest parts of Lagos, so buildings there, you can see buildings there that are over 80 years and things like that. Yes, the building was marked for demolition, but the demolition would have happened almost immediately. After marking it for demolition, they left it there. And with the housing problem we have in Lagos, we have squatters everywhere. That is not the only building. I'm telling you, in Butemeta, there are quite a number of buildings that I know of. There's a 6 or 7 story building that belongs to Cross River State that the state is not using. There are over 2,000 people living there. And that building too is marked for demolition. So it's sad. You wonder if you think you should blame somebody. You think, no, you can't blame somebody. It's just a mess.
It's a mess, Olamide, and you wonder, who do you want to start blaming at this point? This is not the first time a building has collapsed in Butemeta. This is not the first time, and I'm hoping that this will be the last time, because we're still saying that there are buildings that are feeble and they're still standing. We know that the government had marked for demolition, but then again, I agree with Etoma. So if they have marked it for demolition, why wasn't it demolished immediately? That's not what worries me.
Absolutely, it's been a needless loss of lives. Those lives didn't have to be lost because the government did their due diligence. They marked that building. I worry that in Nigeria we have a culture of normalizing risk until disaster strikes. The government did their due diligence. They said, this is a notice. Everybody was aware of that risk. Why was it not taken as an emergency? When you leave something like that, this is what happens. Lives are lost. It's absolutely unacceptable. We've seen this in Mangoro, I think earlier this year or late last year, a very fatal building collapse, and now in Butemeta. Why do we constantly normalize risk until it's too late?
Ibrahim, it's quite scary, and oftentimes I don't want to be insensitive and say that, okay, for me, if you see a building that has been marked to be demolished, why are you still staying there? But then again, these people will tell you they don't have anywhere to stay. But at the end of the day, it goes 2 ways. You cannot stay where will kill you. We know that we have a housing deficit in Nigeria as well, so everybody is just rushing to put their head somewhere. But the building has also been marked for demolition, so I don't even know who to blame. Like at this point, you are wondering, is it the government, is it the people? Who do you now blame in this kind of problem?
Well, you give the blame to what's it called? Whose blame is due? You understand? Just as you give honor to the one who deserves the honor. The government has marked it for demolition. The best thing for people is to leave there. At least before the government marked it for demolition, there must have been complaints. Building before it collapses, there are some telltale signs that you get. You start hearing some sound. You see cracks here and there. Buildings in the Butemeta are most of the buildings in the Butemeta are very, very old. Very, very old. Because the Butemeta is one of the ancient places you find in Lagos State. Lagos Island has always had that reputation of collapsed buildings. So one thing is, as you said, when government marks this place for demolition, they have to do it almost immediately. Evacuate people. Now, if you insist that you're not leaving the building, that the building is okay, you don't have anywhere to sleep, you don't have anywhere to live, then the only place you can go at the end of the day is the grave, which has happened to someone. And that's the last thing we want to ever have to sit down here and talk about. So the government has the duty, based on the social contract that we signed with the government, to protect lives and property. So whatever you need to do to avert needless killing, needless dying, then the government has to do that immediately.
Absolutely. We're seeing right now that a government notice was ignored, but I want to point out something, and this is not to apportion blame to the government, but what will the illiterate, that the cement layer or the bricklayer that has no knowledge of notices or things like that or contracts, he just wants to lay his head somewhere. So were there people on ground to sort of enforce that notice? Because not everybody can read. If we're being real with ourselves, how were they fully aware?
Well, from the experience I've had, when things like that happen, the neighbors around will tell you, you're still living in this house, it is marked, it will still follow, things like that.
The thing is that, Olamide as well, no matter, I don't want to be insensitive, and that's why I'm just trying to play safe, but no matter how illiterate you are, you can see when they build, like Ibrahim said, you hear some sounds, you see cracks. But then again, I understand that people do not have places to live, but then you will rather end up in the grave. Because if you see a sign that this thing is coming down, you're supposed to know that at any time. Even in my house, I always look at the POP because I'm like, let me be sure. Like, I'm taking, precautions like that.
but you know, POP will not tell you that it's coming down.
No, sometimes it tells you, you see it like
may we not be victims? Because sometimes, some people cut corners when it comes to building.
Yeah.
So they use inferior materials. They do not use the correct measurements.
But now the problem we're having with these buildings, I pray and I hope that the government will now take quick action. Even the buildings now that are dead, that are old, because Etoma, there are still a lot of buildings
that are like beside that building is also marked for demolition.
So what are you saying? We do not want another report again that something like this has happened.
The only advice I'll give is, yes, housing is a major problem. So if you find yourself in that position, don't feel too bad to go back home. The blessing is not in your location, is in you. So anywhere you are, you can live a good life. Instead of risking your life because you want to stay in Lagos and things like that. Maybe people should start considering going home.
And just to wrap it up, please stay safe. We do not want more lives lost. Stay safe. That's what I'm going to say. And the governments, the ones that are close to it, that we see that, they are already looking shaky and like they will fall down. Please, let's take them down immediately. We do not want more lives being lost. We'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, it will be time for the newspaper review. Don't go anywhere. This is TVC Breakfast.